Shroomraver here, and welcome back to the Nickname Academy. This is the series where I'll be taking every Pokemon all the way from Bulbasaur right the way through to Calyrex and giving them all nicknames. And when future generations come out, we're going to do them as well. Yes, indeed. First things first, a Happy New Year to one and all. I hope that everyone had a as decent a New Year celebration as we all could under the circumstances of the world right now. Mine was very quiet indeed. Didn't really get up to much. As I imagine is the same for most people, really. But I thought it's been a while since I've done Nickname Academy, so let's crack on with the new year with a new entry into the series. Last time we ended off with Lopunny, which means today we're going to be picking up with Mismagius. Mismagius is going to be called BLOODNINJA. This is named after a certain chat room user. This may seem like a very, very niche thing, but this chat room user is more famous than one might expect, because it is the person who gave rise to that very memeable phrase, "I put on my robe and wizard hat," which has become a meme in and of itself. There was some weird roleplay stuff going on there, and it became very memeable. And the person who came up with that phrase was BLOODNINJA, and Mismagius, you know, it looks like it's wearing a wizard hat and a robe, so that will do nicely. After Mismagius, we have HYPNO. HYPNO is going to be called Flight Plan. Now, why are we calling it a Flight Plan? Well, Flight Plan is the name of a game developer, a Japanese game developer who developed the game called Summon Night. And in the Dex for HYPNO, it calls it the Summoner of Night. So that fits very nicely indeed. It supposedly gathers Murkrow in with its call, and you know, Flight Plan, it's a bird, it flies. So lots of linkage there. HYPNO going to be called Flight Plan. After HYPNO, we have Glameow. Glameow is going to be called Cool Springs, and this is named after Cool Springs, the place in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, why are we calling it Cool Springs because of that place? Well, because in that place, there is a designer furniture store called Classy Cat, and Glameow is the Classy Cat Pokemon, and along with that, with Cool Springs, it's got a spring for a tail. So once again, lots of things coming together there to give us the nickname for Glameow, Cool Springs. Let me scroll down real quick so I can get to the next page of my nicknames. That will do nicely. We have Purugly after Glameow, and Purugly is going to be called the Great CATSBY. I've often used this for many cat Pokemon, but I think it fits quite nicely with Purugly, named after, of course, the Great Gatsby, but it's a cat, so we call it CATSBY instead of Gatsby. The other reasoning why I like to use this for Purugly specifically is that because it looks quite fancy, but it also looks quite angry as well, and you know, Gatsby, he looked very fancy, had all these parties, but deep down he was just an unhappy dude. So that's going to fit very nicely for Purugly being the Great CATSBY. After Purugly, we have Chingling, and Chingling is going to be called Edam. Reason for this, Edam is of course a cheese. It is a cheese that makes up one of my all-time favourite little snacks in the world, which is Baby Bell. Those, you know, those little sort of circular circles, those little wheels of mini wheels of cheese in the red wrapping, Baby Bells. I didn't actually know up until quite recently that this isn't entirely 100% processed. It's made of real cheese, and that cheese is Edam. And yeah, that's why Chingling is going to be called Edam, because Chingling is a little baby bell. It evolves into Chimecho, which is a slightly bigger bell-like thing. But yeah, Chingling, it's round, it's a little baby bell, and baby bell is made up of Edam, so Chingling is going to be called Edam. After Chingling, we have Stunky. Stunky is going to be called J&L. Now, why are we calling it J&L? Well, J&L is a company specialising in self-defense products. Not on a like sort of a military scale, but like, you know, for your sort of your day-to-day, you know, in case you're scared of getting attacked or mugged or whatever, this company will provide you with some of the stuff that you can use. One of these products is a mini stun gun on a keychain, which sounds mental that you can just have a stun gun on you. But these kind of things exist, and unfortunately we live in a society where sometimes these kind of things are necessary. So yes, one of the products that this company makes is a mini stun gun on a keychain. It is a stunner on a keychain. It is a stun key. Easy. Stun key, going to be called JL because of that. Love it. After this, we have Skuntank, the evolution of Stunky, of course. Skuntank is going to be called Bolt Cutter. Now the reason for this is because a bolt cutter breaks locks. You know, big, large, great scissor-like things that are very good at breaking locks. That's what a bolt cutter does. But why is this relatable to Skuntank? Well, if anyone's played Diamond, Pearl and Platinum, I've got that each on the back of my neck. If anyone's played Pokemon Diamond, Pearl and Platinum, you will be familiar with Jupiter's Skuntank, which I believe you fight in... Oh god, it's the city where they have the grass gym leader, Gardenia. I don't remember the name of the city, but you fight Jupiter there in the Team Galactic building. Jupiter has a Skuntank which is notorious for being a lock killer in when people do like Nuzlocks of Gen 4. It is notorious for being a lock killer because it's just really difficult to take down. It crits very often, it's bulkier than people give Skuntank credit for. So yeah, it breaks locks, which is exactly what bolt cutters do in real life. So Skuntank is going to be called Bolt Cutter. Next up, we have Bronzor. Bronzor is going to be called Fake Tan, because Fake Tan is Bronzor. Very simple, very easy. Let's move on to the next one. Some of them are very easy, gang. You know, some of them are just there, and Bronzor's one of them. Fake Tan, done. Next up, we have Bronzong, the evolution, and this is a lot more complex. This is going to be called Donaldson, named after Minnesota Twins third baseman Josh Donaldson. I don't follow baseball, but apparently he's a person who does now or once existed. Third baseman for the Minnesota Twins. He had a nickname. He was called the Bringer of Rain. I'm not really sure why. It must be because he was quite a good player. Either way, Bronzong in the decks, and you can read this actually in... which game is it you can read it in? Is it Sun and Moon? Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon? The one on the islands. Is that Sun and Moon? Do you know, I should probably know this. Got all my games here. Yeah, Sun and Moon. Yes, you can read about it there. You go into one of the labs, and it's got information on the three legendary Pokemon from Gen 4. I think it has like Dialga, Giratina, and Bronzong for some reason. Either way, in all this information you can find, Bronzong was revered in ancient times as a bringer of rain to end droughts and stuff. So yeah, both Bronzong and Josh Donaldson were bringers of rain, so Bronzong's going to be called Donaldson. After this, we have Bonsly. Bonsly is going to be called Chokan. I think I'm saying that right. Why is it called Chokan? Well, Chokan is apparently, from my research, the formal upright style of bonsai tree. And Bonsly is basically a bonsai tree. It's a little sort of fake tree, quite small, grow it in your house, and it stands upright. So there we go. Bonsly is going to be called Chokan. After this, we have Mime Jr. Mime Jr. is going to be called Jeremiah, and this is named after Jeremiah Valeska, who is, if anyone's seen Gotham, that sort of, it's sort of the Batman universe series, but it's more focused around Commissioner Jim Gordon. Jeremiah Valeska is the Joker character in this. He's actually very, very good in it. But yeah, he's basically a young Joker. And my nickname for Mr. Mime was the Clown Prince of Mime, I believe it was, who's named after the Joker himself. So Mime Jr. is essentially a young Joker here, and Jeremiah Valeska was the young Joker in Gotham. So yeah, Mr. Mime Jr. is going to be called Jeremiah. After this, we have HYPNO. HYPNO is going to be called Healthy ACL. Now, I'm no scientist or biologist in any way, shape or form, but an ACL is your anterior cruciate ligament, which stabilises the knee joint. So if you've got a healthy ACL, you probably have a happy knee. Happy knee. Healthy ACL. Done. After HYPNO, we have Chatot. Chatot is going to be called Impediment, named after a hearing impediment that one might have, which basically means it can be quite confusing to hear things correctly. And Chatot's signature move, Chatter, is a move based on sound that can cause confusion. So yeah, Chatot is going to be called Impediment. Very simple. After Chatot, we have Spiritomb, another very simple name here. It's going to be called HYPNO-DISC, named after the robot from Robot Wars, HYPNO-DISC, a very, very dangerous robot. Get my hair out of the way. I need a haircut, seriously. I'm trying to just bunch it all under my beanie. One day I'll get a haircut when I'm allowed to leave the house again. Yes, Spiritomb, HYPNO-DISC, named after the robot from Robot Wars. And Spiritomb itself is disc-shaped in so much as its face is, and it's kind of hypnotic, so it fits very nicely there. Spiritomb going to be called HYPNO-DISC. Next up, we have Gible. Gible is going to be called, I need to read this properly, MEGACHASMA. Excuse me, bit of a cough. MEGACHASMA, named after Megachasma pelagios, which is the Latin name for the megamouth shark, which is a type of shark with a giant mouth. And Gible is a land shark that is mostly mouth, like most of its body. It's like 85% mouth. Excuse me again. So that is why Gible is going to be called MEGACHASMA, named exactly after that. Next up, we have Gabite. Gabite is going to be called Gold Fever. The reason for this, Gold Fever, is known. It's mentioned in The Hobbit, and a lot of characters sort of suffer from this. It's basically the mental change that comes over someone who's been hoarding gold, and it's kind of, I think it's also called like gold sickness or treasure sickness. You have Smaug the dragon suffered from it. Thorin Oakenshield suffered from it a bit as well. Gold Fever, yeah, this mental change when you're hoarding gold, and in the dex it does say that Gabite hoards treasure, so it may well suffer from Gold Fever, which is why it's given that name. I'm going to try and get through this fairly quickly because my throat is giving out just a wee bit. But after Gabite we have Garchomp, one of the most used Pokemon in Gen 4. Garchomp is going to be called CANDYGRAM. Reason for this is based off a Saturday Night Live sketch, an ongoing sketch, called The Land Shark. And basically what it was someone would knock on this door, on the doors of people, and try and be let in. And they were like, no, I'm not sure I want to let you in. You're that land shark that's been going around. And it's really weird. Basically, it's this shark who lives on land, goes around eating people. And he tries to get into people's houses by saying he's not the land shark. And one of the things he says, he knocks at the door and is like, I'm not the land shark, CANDYGRAM. And that's something he's pretending to be delivering. And they let him in and he eats them. So yes, Garchomp is a land shark. This thing was a land shark, and pretended to be a CANDYGRAM deliverer, so that is going to be Garchomp's name. And that's going to work for the Mega as well, not too much changing there. It's still a land shark, so that will work very nicely. After Garchomp, we have Munchlax. Oh, God, I can't speak. Is it that obvious that I haven't recorded in ages? After Garchomp, we have Munchlax. Munchlax is going to be called Inedible. Because if something is inedible, you are unable to eat it, so it lacks the ability to be munched. Munchlax. Munchlax, inedible. Done. After Munchlax, we have... we got a couple of really ridiculous nicknames here, gang. First up, we have Riolu. And Riolu is going to be called Toilet Debts. Why on earth would we call it Toilet Debts? Well, because we take the parts of its name, Riolu, Riolu. If you are in debt to a toilet, for example, you would re-owe a loo money, I guess. Some of these names are very weird. Riolu's one of them. We're going with toilet debts, and don't worry, gang, it only gets stupider with the evolution Lucario. Lucario is going to be called Slido. Now, why on earth we're calling it Slido? That isn't even a word. What does it mean? Well, Slido. This is the extent of how far my research goes into these nicknames, because Slido is a company. There's a company based in Brazil, and what this company does is delivers portaloos. You know those portable toilets, those big single cubicles you get at music festivals and the like? This is what this company does. Quite why, I'm not sure, but it exists. So, for example, if you needed a loo, a toilet to be delivered, a vehicle to deliver your toilet in Brazil. So if you needed a loo delivered by car in Rio, loo, car, Rio. That is where we're going with this, Rio being the capital of Brazil, of course. Lucario, we take the parts of the name, and we get delivering a toilet by car in Rio de Janeiro. Lucario, the company that will do that is Slido. And that's going to work for the Mega as well. I mean, I'm not going to give up that name so easily. It's one of my stupidest, and I love it. So there we go, the Mega for Lucario is going to be Slido as well. Don't worry, because it does get less stupid from here on out, with Hippopotas. Hippopotas is going to be called Donald, and yes, we are naming this one after Donald Trump. Why the heck not? Donald Trump was, of course, the President of the United States of America, or POTAS as the acronym goes, the president. And as we all know about Donald Trump, he is and was to this day a filthy hypocrite, contradicting himself at every turn and basically being a useless sack of words. So yes, he was the president, POTAS, and a hypocrite. So he is the hippo part of hypocrite, goes in front of POTAS, president of the United. He's the president, and POTAS is what's the acronym for that. So hypocrite plus POTAS gives us hippopotas. Hippopotas Donald. Done. That, I believe, is the last ever link to that worthless waste of human life. So we can move on from that to Hippopotas's evolution, Hippowdon. Hippowdon is going to be called Tatooine. Why is it called Tatooine? Because, as we all know, what happens on Tatooine, there's sand. And what do we all know about sand from Anakin? It's coarse and it gets everywhere. Now, of course, Hippowdon has the ability Sandstream, which summons the sand. And if you look at its old sprites, it's like encased half in sand, and sand is like coming out of all its the holes over its body and stuff. So it is getting everywhere, which is exactly why we're going to call Hippowdon Tatooine. After Hippowdon, we're going to move on to our last evolutionary line of the video. One of these is going to be Skorupi. Skorupi is going to be called Pot Smash. Why on earth are we calling Skorupi Pot Smash? Well, we're looking at The Legend of Zelda for this one. Very famously, Link can go around anywhere he wants in any Legend of Zelda game, pick up any given pots that he wants and smash it on the floor. Doesn't matter if it belongs to him or not, he can just do that because he's Link. But why does that lead us to Skorupi? Well, often in these games, smashing the pots lets you get money. It's one of the ways of getting money in the game. And the money in the Legend of Zelda games is rupees. So smashing pots is a way of getting money, or in this case, it's a way to score rupees. Score rupee. Pot smash. Lovely. The final Pokemon we're going to look at today is Skorupi's evolution, Drapion. Drapion is going to be named Otis. And this is named after Otis, the wrestler from WWE. Otis was a member of a tag team along with his partner Take, called Heavy Machinery. Heavy Machinery had a tag team finisher called the Compactor, which is a type of car crusher. And in the Pokemon Dex, the Pokédex, it does say of Drapion that it has enough power to to scrap cars, like crushing them. So that's exactly what a Compactor does, and that was the move of Otis. So Drapion is going to be called Otis. And that is going to wrap things up from this episode of the Nickname Academy. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. Remember to tell me what your nicknames for these Pokemon are down in the comment section below. I love reading about all the nicknames that you are giving to your Pokemon, and it's important to me because every Pokemon deserves a nickname, so make sure you give them one. I'm going to get out of here though. That's going to be it from me. I've rambled on for far too long. So my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.